You never know. I'm
Yeah.
like, you guys are planning on doing the switcheroo, which is Phil sleeping.
Bam Margera was MTV's biggest male star in 2002. He had $45 million, a castle, and millions of fans. But in 2022, he was banned from Jackass Forever and sued everyone he knew. The truth? A single night in 2011 destroyed everything. By 2023, he posted a video saying he would smoke crack until he died if he couldn't see his son. Cops found him hours later. This wasn't just another celebrity meltdown. What happened to Bam went deeper than anyone knew. And today, we're uncovering the real story Hollywood tried to bury. Bam Margera entered the world as Brandon Cole Margera on September 28, 1979, in West Chester, Pennsylvania, inside a loud and loving working-class home shaped by Italian, German, English, and Welsh roots. His mother, April, worked as a hairdresser, his father, Phil, was a baker, and their house ran on creativity more than rules. From the very beginning, Bam was restless. At just 3 years old, during family gatherings, he would sprint straight into walls again and again, laughing as he did it. Instead of scolding him, his grandfather laughed and started calling him Bam Bam, after the cartoon character from The Flintstones. The name stuck. As he grew older, school friends shortened it to Bam, and without realizing it, he had already found the name that would follow him for life. It fit him perfectly. Loud, reckless, funny, impossible to ignore. His uncle Vincent, later known to the world as Don Vito, was always around, pulling pranks, pushing limits, and showing Bam that shock and laughter could live side by side. Long before cameras or fame, the tone of his future was already set. By the time Bam was 7 years old in 1986, he had found skateboarding. It was not a hobby, it was an obsession. By 1991, he was already skating at Love Park in Philadelphia, a legendary spot where even names like Tony Hawk practiced. His older brother Jess was always nearby, watching and protecting him. Jess later said Bam's talent was natural and that their parents supported it fully, driving him wherever he needed to go. In 1992, when Bam was just 13, Fairman's Skate Shop in West Chester offered him his first sponsorship. They gave him gear and a place in local skate videos. Those videos spread fast. People noticed how aggressive he skated. The ledge grinds, the stair sets, the way he slammed and got back up. By high school, skating was everything. And by 1998, he had stacked major sponsors like Toy Machine, Addio, Volcom, and Electric Sunglasses. None of it was handed to him. It came from raw clips that showed pain, chaos, and refusal to quit. At the same time, another door opened. In 1993, Bam took a digital media class at West Chester East High School with his best friend Chris Deco Robb. His father gave him a video camera, and that one gift changed everything. Bam started filming skateboard crashes, backyard dares, and stupid ideas that turned violent fast. Friends like Ryan Dunn, Brandon DiCamillo, Art Webb, and others became regular faces. Those recordings slowly evolved into what became the CKY videos. They were rough, they were real. They spread locally at first, then everywhere. Eventually, the CKY series sold more than 400,000 copies, all built on chaos that started in a school class with one camera. Not every moment felt fun. On September 21, 1995, when Bam was 16, everything nearly ended. He was in a car near West Chester that crashed at close to 100 miles per hour. Chris Robb had forced him to wear a seatbelt, and Bam later said that decision probably saved his life. His brother Jess broke his arm. Ryan Dunn and the others walked away with minor injuries. Bam walked away shaken. For a short time, the accident changed how he saw risk and death. The memory stayed with him, even as he kept pushing harder. School slowly faded out of his life. In 1994, Chris Robb was expelled for smearing feces on lockers, and Bam lost the only reason he cared about being there. He dropped out during his junior year. His mother, April, stepped in and homeschooled him so he could earn his GED. From that moment on, Everything went into skating, filming, and creating. It was a risk, but it felt natural. By 1998, Bam was filming for Toy Machine's Jump Off a Building video. That year, he landed a full loop, becoming the 13th person ever to do it, and the first street skater to pull it off. The cost was brutal. He fractured his wrist multiple times during that stunt alone. Over the course of his career, he would break his wrist more than 11 times, suffer over 15 elbow breaks, and rack up countless other injuries. Doctors warned him his body was breaking down. He kept going anyway. Pain became part of the story. By the mid-1990s, Bam was entering amateur contests, but trophies never mattered much to him. What mattered was the footage. He realized early that videos traveled further than medals. By 1998, he was considered pro, not because of contest wins, but because people could not stop watching him. That shift changed skateboarding. Entertainment value became just as powerful as technical skill. The CKY crew officially formed in 1993, built around Bam, Ryan Dunn, Brandon DiCamillo, Rake Yan, Brandon Novak, and Jess Margera. The name CKY came from Jess's band, which took its name from the 1983 horror film Sleepaway Camp. Bam filmed everything: fights, falls, pranks. Nothing was polished. It was raw and uncomfortable, and that was the point. On March 1, 1999, CKY Land Speed was released independently. It ran about 66 minutes and featured skate tricks, pranks, and chaos set to music by CKY. It spread through word of mouth and sold thousands of copies underground. In 2000, CKY2K raised the stakes. The infamous poo diet prank shocked viewers when Ryan Dunn vomited on camera. Bam also recreated wall-smashing stunts from his childhood, tying his past to the present. In 2001, CKY3 introduced the High Five Ghost Ride, a reckless car stunt that nearly caused a real crash. The editing was rough, abrupt cuts, blackouts. It influenced the style of stunt television that came later. Behind the laughs, real pain surfaced. Brandon Novak's heroin addiction became visible on camera. On Radio Bam, Novak later admitted he attempted suicide 3 weeks before one episode aired after a binge. The videos were not just comedy. They showed friendship under pressure, addiction, and fear. By 2002, CKY4, the latest and greatest, had pushed total sales past 100,000 copies. Bam edited the footage himself. MTV noticed. That attention led directly to Jackass, and later, Viva la Bam. At the same time, CKY, the band, rose alongside the crew. Their debut album, Volume 1, dropped in February 1999. Songs like 96 Quite Bitter, Beings became part of the CKY identity. Bam appeared in the music video. Skateboarding, music, pain, and chaos blended into one world. Bam Margera's rise did not begin on a polished TV set. It started in late 1999 with shaky skate tapes called CKY. Those tapes slowly made their way around, and one day they landed in the hands of Jeff Tremaine from Big Brother magazine. Tremaine did not see chaos. He saw something new, something raw. So in early 2000, he flew Bam to Los Angeles. That flight quietly changed everything. By October 2000, the Jackass pilot aired on MTV. 2.4 million people watched. Almost instantly, Bam and Ryan Dunn became the heartbeat of the show. The energy felt dangerous and honest at the same time. Stunts like the sweatsuit cocktail vomit challenge shocked people because they felt real. Nothing looked staged. Between 2000 and 2002, Jackass rewrote what reality TV could be. There were no filters, no safety nets. And by 2002, Bam had become MTV's biggest male star. Skateboarding, pranks, family torment. It all blended into one wild identity that audiences could not look away from. As the fame grew, the stunts got darker. In 2001, the infamous turkey fuck bit was filmed. Bam tied a dead turkey to Ryan Dunn's car and drove at 50 miles per hour through open roads. The turkey exploded. Guts and feathers covered everyone nearby. It was disgusting, it was shocking, and it became legendary. That moment captured what Jackass had become, pushing past comfort, past taste, past safety. Across 25 episodes from 2000 to 2002, Bam stayed at the center of the most dangerous ideas. The controversy brought warnings and backlash, but it also locked his image into pop culture forever. Behind the laughs, things were not always fun. Tension built fast. Bam often clashed with Johnny Knoxville, especially over safety. One stunt pushed things too far. Bam volunteered for a riot control test suit experiment. He was tear-gassed, beaten, pushed for hours. When it ended, he was bruised, crying, and shaken. Crew members later admitted they were scared for him. Some remembered Bam sobbing in pain. Moments like that changed the tone behind the camera. The jokes were still there, but the fear was real. The cost of chaos was starting to show. In 2001, another stunt nearly ended his career. Bam attempted the blindfolded skateboard stunt, riding through active traffic without sight. He lost control. A car nearly hit him. He crashed hard and fractured his ankle. Production stopped. Recovery took weeks. It became clear that these were not fake risks. Injuries were common. Some went untreated. Many came close to being fatal. What people laughed at on screen often came from moments that could have ended everything. By July 2002, Jackass Backyard BBQ aired. 2.5 million viewers tuned in. The event took place at Castle Bam and turned into pure chaos. One stunt stood out: the poo volcano. Fecal matter exploded everywhere. Guests were covered. The backyard was destroyed. Tony Hawk and Rivers Cuomo were there to witness it all. Cleaning took days. The smell stayed longer, but the special worked. Bam's image grew even bigger. His Q score climbed. MTV leaned into him harder than ever. Around the same time, MTV Cribs gave fans a look inside his world. From 2002 to 2005, viewers saw Castle Bam in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Indoor skate ramps, secret tunnels, prank rooms. It felt less like a house and more like a playground built for destruction. That home became central to Viva La Bam, where chaos spilled into family life. Those Cribs episodes made Bam feel untouchable. Larger than TV, larger than reality. The movies pushed things even further. In 2002, Jackass the movie filmed the Porta Potty Slam in Andover, Massachusetts. Bam and Ryan Dunn were launched inside a portable toilet, using bungee cords at speeds close to 40 miles per hour. The impact was violent. Both suffered concussions. Dunn was hospitalized. The toilet was filled with real waste. The area had to be evacuated. Authorities threatened legal action. The footage became iconic for all the wrong reasons. In 2006, Jackass #2 crossed another line. Bam performed the butt chug stunt. A beer was forced into his body using a funnel. He suffered severe alcohol poisoning. His blood alcohol level became dangerously high. He ended up in the hospital. In the same film, a live snake bit him on the genitals. Stitches followed. Scars remained. Doctors later said the beer enema could have killed him. What looked like shock comedy was real medical danger. By 2010, Jackass 3D raised the stakes again. Bam wore a Tesla coil suit during the sweat loaf stunt. High-voltage shocks tore through his body. Burns formed. Doctors worried about brain hemorrhage. Filming stopped multiple times. Even Johnny Knoxville needed medical checks. The footage had to be heavily edited. Safety rules finally began to change, but the damage was already done. In Jackass 3.5 outtakes released in 2011, the jet engine stunt shocked fans. Bam stood near a jet engine producing 10,000 horsepower. The blast threw him more than 20 feet. Several ribs broke. Internal injuries followed. He was rushed to the hospital. The stunt raised serious questions. People started asking if the laughs were worth the cost. By the late 2000s, Bam's net worth peaked around $45 million. But cracks were everywhere. In 2007, Jackass 2.5 was affected by his uncle Don Vito's conviction for child molestation. Scenes were cut. Releases were delayed. The emotional fallout hit Bam hard. He later called it one of the lowest points of his life. When Jackass Forever arrived in 2022, Bam was barely there. He tested positive for Adderall during pre-filming and was removed from the main cast. Only archival footage remained. In interviews years later, he called it the end of his legacy. The moment showed how far things had fallen. Along the way, Bam crossed into gaming culture. Starting with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 in 2001, he appeared as himself. His digital character mirrored his real-life skating style. Millions played as him. It cemented his crossover fame. Then there was Castle Bam itself. In 2004, he bought the house for $1.2 million. 5 seasons of Viva La Bam were filmed there from 2003 to 2006. The property became a war zone of ramps, pranks, fake snowstorms, indoor ice rinks, and constant destruction. Town officials issued violations. His parents endured endless chaos. Bam Margera had a talent for turning real life into a movie. And that urge showed up loud in 2003 when he poured his own money into Haggard and filmed it entirely in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It was not polished Hollywood. It was more like a late-night idea that refused to calm down. The story came from something personal because it circled around Ryan Dunn and that sick feeling of heartbreak when he suspected his girlfriend had cheated on him. Bam did not step back and watch from a distance either. He played Velo, a character shaped by himself and by him's Valo, while Dunn played himself, so the line between real and fake stayed blurry on purpose. Then the CKY family poured in. Brandon DiCamillo and Chris Robb popped up with wild cameos, and the whole thing moved with that unpredictable group energy that fans knew too well. One moment that stuck with people was DiCamillo going off on a freestyle rant about a reverse microwave, and it felt like the camera just happened to be there at the right time. And when the characters finally snapped and vandalized the girlfriend's house, they even offered $100 to anyone willing to help. Like Rage had its own price tag. Critics brushed it off, but the fans did not. They saw the raw amateur humor and held onto it. Haggard dropped on June 23, 2003, and it kept living after that, because it felt like a piece of the CKY world that could not be cleaned up even if someone tried. That same messy spirit came back again with Minghags, the strange sequel built around a ridiculous invention called the garbage juicer, a machine that blends trash into drinkable smoothies. The idea was gross on purpose, and Bam leaned into it hard. Filming began on April 5, 2007, but the movie dragged on for 2 years, and the long timeline matched his erratic schedule and the film's anything goes attitude. Bam played Lenny, teaming up with his friend Ponce to get revenge on a villain who steals the juicer, and the juicer itself became the running joke that kept popping up like a bad smell you cannot escape. It was shot in Pennsylvania again, and there was talk of trying to keep it PG-13, but it landed with an R rating because of heavy swearing and nudity. Then there was the Garbage Smoothie Challenge, where characters actually drank blended trash, and people either laughed, gagged, or did both at once. Critics tore it apart, but fans remembered it because it was bold, filthy, and fearless, in the exact way Bam always was. The official release date landed on December 31, 2008, and it rolled into wider distribution in 2009, almost like the film could not decide when it wanted to show up, but it showed up anyway. While his movies were spiraling through chaos, his eye for visuals was getting sharper, and that is where his music video era kicked in. In the early 2000s, Bam started directing videos that looked like skate culture collided with gothic mood, and that mix hit hard for the time. With him, he directed Buried Alive by Love in 2003, The Sacrament in 2003, and Solitary Man in 2004, and he filled them with dark imagery, dramatic style, and the kind of movement that came from a skateboarder's brain. Around that, he also directed CKY videos like Flesh into Gear in 2002 and Disengage the Simulator, and he touched tracks for bands like Clutch and Turbo Negro too. His style was quick, restless, and weirdly emotional under the noise, like comedy and darkness were fighting for control in the same room. And he did not stop at videos. From 2002 to 2006, he formed the comedy band Narkill with Jess Margera and Brandon DiCamillo, and their self-titled album had tracks like Skeletor Beastman and I Got Erection, the kind of titles that told you exactly what lane they were in. Those songs ended up inside his films and CKY videos. So the music and the movie world stayed tied together. Later, in 2013, he formed Fuckface Unstoppable with his wife Nikki, releasing albums that mixed originals and covers, including songs by Clutch and Turbo Negro, and even then it still felt like Bam was chasing the same thing. A loud, creative life that did not follow anyone's rules. But the further he ran, the more the cracks started showing, and one of the biggest public fractures hit the CKY world in 2011. Jess's band CKY went through a dramatic split, and it was tied closely to lead singer Darren Miller and his alcohol problems. In a video titled CKY What Next, Miller announced he was quitting, and Bam pointed straight at addiction as the reason everything was collapsing. Then came Christmas with CKY on December 18, 2011, and Chad Ginsburg called it the last official CKY show on Twitter. So the ending felt final even in real time. Bam kept chasing new ventures anyway, and one of the biggest was The Note, the bar he ran in Westchester from 2008 to 2014. It became a local hotspot, but the noise complaints kept piling up, and fights with the local council became part of the story until it finally closed on January 31, 2014. In 2009, he also released the book Serious as Dog Dirt, packed with sketches, poems, and personal journal-style pieces, and fans read it like a peek into his head because it was messy, honest, and hard to separate from the person behind the fame. Even when the business and friendships were shaking, Bam still threw himself into stunts, and pain, like that was the only language he trusted. In 2010, he starred in the one-off Spike TV special Bam's World Domination, where he and Ryan Dunn took on the Tough Guy Challenge in Staffordshire, England. It was 8 miles of punishment, with smoke, fire, barbed wire, freezing water, and more traps than anyone should want to meet in a single day. The special aired on October 13, 2010, and you could feel the toll in it, the exhaustion, the danger, the moment where bodies start shutting down and pride is the only thing keeping you upright. The problem was, pride does not heal you. It just pushes you forward until something snaps. Then the personal life started hitting with the same chaos, only this time it was not funny. His relationship with Jen Revell began in 1998 and played out on Viva La Bam, with fans watching the madness like it was entertainment, until it turned into real fallout. It ended in 2005, and by 2006, Bam filed for a protection order after Jen allegedly broke into his home, and the breakup became a legal wound, not just a sad ending. In 2007, he married his childhood friend Missy Rothstein in a huge wedding that was filmed for Bam's Unholy Union, with over 350 people there and a honeymoon in Dubai, so it looked like a victory lap. But the shine did not hold. In 2010, Bam admitted on Howard Stern that he and Missy were living apart and that he had been unfaithful through the marriage, and the public romance turned into public pain. By 2012, they divorced, and the 5-year stretch felt like a long, messy argument that never really ended clean. In 2013, he went through a ceremony with Nicole Nicky Boyd in Iceland, but later it was described as non-legal and used mainly for a skate park promotion, which tells you how complicated his life had become, even at the moments that are supposed to be simple. Still, they had a son, Phoenix Wolf, born in December 2017, and that should have been a moment of calm. Instead, it became the center of the storm. Bam later married model Danny Marie in May 2024 after proposing in 2023, while his separation from Nikki was still ongoing and fought out in court. so even the new chapter started with unfinished pages from the old one. Fatherhood brought the stakes higher, and his spirals started to have a smaller face attached to them. Phoenix Wolf became the focus of custody conflict, and in 2021, Nikki filed for custody, pointing to Bam's drinking and erratic behavior as the danger. Things grew heavier in 2023 when she formally separated and asked for spousal support and full custody. And Bam's access shrank down to limited supervised visits, sometimes described as 20-minute FaceTime calls 3 times a week. Then, in August 2023, a judge ruled that Bam and Nikki were never legally married, which shocked her, while Bam had long claimed the 2013 wedding was a promotional stunt. The legal battle still carried on anyway, because even without a legal marriage, custody and child support do not just disappear, and the whole situation kept draining money and peace at the same time, and the pain spilled out in public. In June 2023, Bam posted a video on Instagram saying he would smoke crack until he died if he could not see Phoenix, and that kind of threat pushed the situation into emergency mode. Police found him at a Los Angeles restaurant, and he was placed on a 5150 psychiatric hold for evaluation and forced treatment, because California law allows involuntary commitment when someone is seen as a danger to themselves or others. It was one of the darkest public moments of his life, because it was not a stunt, and it was not comedy, and you could feel the desperation in the way it unfolded. The addiction story had been building for years, and it kept finding new ways to break him down. In July 2009, he was rushed to the hospital after a 4-day drinking binge left him severely dehydrated, with paramedics and state troopers involved, and he ended up admitted after collapsing at his Pennsylvania home. By December 2009, friends and family staged an intervention and convinced him to enter rehab, but he left after just 4 days, refusing to finish, and that pattern of running away started to repeat. Then 2011 hit with the death of Ryan Dunn in a drunk driving crash, and Bam's grief turned into escalation. He later admitted he reached for whatever he could get his hands on, including cocaine, meth, and prescription pills, trying to numb the grief and the emptiness as his skating life slowed down. In 2018, he relapsed again after being robbed at gunpoint during a vacation in Colombia, and the downward pull got stronger. By August 2019, it exploded in public when he was removed from a flight at Philadelphia International Airport for being violently intoxicated. The next day, he posted rambling videos asking Dr. Phil for help, raging at his mother April, his wife Nicole, and his friend Brandon Novak, while destroying property and spiraling on camera. Dr. Phil invited him for a private session. Bam admitted he was suicidal, and the incident led to a court-ordered mental health evaluation and another rehab attempt. Even that did not settle things. In 2022, he was fired from Jackass Forever after failing a drug test for Adderall, which violated a strict wellness agreement that included daily drug tests, breathalyzers 3 times a day, and video check-ins. Bam said the Adderall was legally prescribed for ADHD, but producers used the positive test as the reason to cut him out. He sued for wrongful termination and emotional distress, calling the agreement inhumane and discriminatory, and the lawsuit was settled in 2022. But the damage stayed. Then in May 2022, he marked 1 year sober, and within months reports said he fled rehab at least 3 times. By December 2022, he was hospitalized with pneumonia, tested positive for COVID-19, suffered 5 seizures, and was put on a ventilator for several days, with the crisis described as life-threatening and tied to long-term alcohol and drug abuse. The wake-up call was brutal, but the struggle kept coming back. The legal problems followed the relapses like a shadow. In April 2023, he was charged with domestic violence for allegedly kicking a woman and making threats, which led to a restraining order and jail time before he pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct and was released. In 2023, his brother Jess even sought legal guardianship because of fears about threats and safety, then withdrew the petition, But the fact that it reached that point said a lot about how bad things felt inside the family. Bam appeared in court in April 2023 and pledged to stay sober, agreeing to drug testing and counseling to avoid bail trouble, but sobriety remained fragile. In September 2024, he was arrested again for DUI in Pennsylvania, violating probation, and reports said his blood alcohol level was nearly double the legal limit, pushing the court to treat him as a public safety risk. And while the legal fights were piling up, the money story was changing too. At one point, he was said to be worth $45 million. But by 2023, reports described his annual income as just over $167,000, coming mostly from cameos and royalties, while legal fees, divorces, and support battles kept pulling him down. There were even reports that court documents in 2023 listed 2 major accounts worth about $1 million combined. But the pressure of court orders and ongoing battles kept shrinking what he could actually hold on to. But the bitterness did not vanish. In July 2025, he gave an interview where he ruled out any future Jackass reunion and said, "You could not offer enough money, the damage is done." And that line felt like a door slamming shut. Because when you follow his story from Haggard in 2003 to Minghags and music videos and band drama and bar fights and court dates and rehab runs, you start seeing the same pattern. Bam could build a world out of chaos. He could make it funny, he could make it loud. But when the chaos turned inward, it stopped being entertainment and started becoming a prison.